The Patriots set an NFL record just a month ago by spending $159.6 million in guaranteed money on free agents, which we all know is something very unpatriot-like. So considering how many guys they signed, how many holes they filled during the free agency period, what do they do with their 10 draft picks, 6 in the first 4 rounds? Where do they go? That is what I want to talk about today. Starting off, I would like to talk about what are the Patriots team needs, because obviously they spent a fuck ton of money during free agency, so they filled a lot of team needs. They got that defensive line down pat with Judon and Devon Godchow coming in. They bolstered up the secondary with Jalen Mills coming in. They obviously made the big moves with Jonnu Smith plus Hunter Henry coming in to fill that tight end need. I'm not going to talk about my opinion for these signings because I would like to save that for a bigger video once the draft is done, but they did fill a lot of team needs. That is the point of this. They re-signed Cam, but where do they go from here? Because there still are some needs. Looking at the secondary, they do have J.C. Jackson, they do have Kyle Duggar, and they did bring in Jalen Mills, but there's been a lot of speculation on if Stephon Gilmore will be traded, which a lot of people just a month and a half ago thought was a done deal. He still is not traded, so we don't really know if cornerback is a team need, because obviously if you have Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jalen Mills, Kyle Duggar, Devin McCourty, you don't need the extra secondary guys. That's just not a question. But if the intent is to trade Stephon Gilmore, then yeah, you can definitely add cornerback to that list. Switching over to the offensive side, quarterback. You need a quarterback. Cam was not given a fair shot last year. We all know that, but that doesn't change the fact that, well, he played really poorly last year. He has been given tight ends, receivers, they re-signed some running backs, but I do think, how much time does Cam have left? You have your 15th pick. You could potentially trade up. We will get into that later. So right now, quarterback is definitely their team need. With maybe a cornerback, maybe we don't truly know yet, but their biggest team need, without a doubt, especially after the retirement of Julian Edelman, 100% is wide receiver. And with the 15th pick, one of those guys could potentially fall, and this is a big old wide receiver class. And their fourth and final major team need is, without a doubt, their inside linebackers. They do have Dante Hightower coming back from being on the COVID list last season, but that doesn't change the fact that they do not have any depth there whatsoever. They did bring back Kyle Van Noy, but he's more that outside linebacker type guy. They have Jawan Bentley and Anfernee Jennings right now. They did sign Raekwon McMillan, but you 100% need an inside linebacker to line up with Dante Hightower if you want that defense to be elite. So the team needs, in no particular order except cornerback being fourth, wide receiver, linebacker, quarterback, and potentially cornerback. So where do they go considering that? This all comes down to their first round pick on which one they really want to go for first. Because if you want a quarterback, you're not getting Justin Fields at 15. You're not getting Mac Jones, Trey Lance at 15. Which is kind of insane because you might have five quarterbacks taking in the top 5 picks. Because if you want one of those guys, you're going to have to trade up with the Bengals or the Falcons. You're going to have to trade up. Justin Fields is not falling down to 15. We know Lawrence is going 1. Either Fields or Wilson is going number 2. Then you got Lance, Mac Jones, and then the other one between Fields and Wilson, most likely Fields. So if you want one of those 3 quarterbacks, you're going to have to trade up. You're going to absolutely have to, and that's a crazy thought. That's insane because the Patriots, they don't make big moves. But, well, they just made insane moves during free agency, so I'm not ruling it out. I would not rule it out whatsoever. I would personally like to see Cam play for the Patriots this year because he wasn't given a fair shot last year, and I do think seeing what Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick can do with more experience with the rushing scheme and kind of giving Cam, those weapons, and those tight ends, I would like to see what he could do. But on the other hand, well, if you can get one of those top quarterbacks and you're really high on one of those guys, 100% without a doubt, get one of them. You cannot blame them for trading up if they're really high on one of those guys, because Cam is not your long-term answer. We all know that. So if you do want a quarterback, you're going to have to trade up, and good news is they do have 10 draft picks. They have 10 draft picks, and they have Stephon Gilmore. Speaking of their cornerback position, if you are going to take a cornerback, then Stephon Gilmore is 100% without a doubt gone, because 100% without a doubt, one of the three, Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley, and J.C. Horn, will be there at 15. Those three should be there unless the Cowboys, Eagles, maybe the Lions pick them. One of those three should be there, and if not, just trade back and collect more picks and pick like Asante Samuel Jr. or something like that. Looking at the pass catchers in this draft is loaded with them. Devontae Smith's probably not going to be there. Jalen Waddle probably not going to be there, and Jamar Chase definitely not going to be there, and then we all know Kyle Pitts won't be there. So you're going to have to settle for the tier 2 guys, because I don't see those 4 guys falling. When you look at the tier 2 guys, you do have Rondale Moore, who is extremely fast, Terrace Marshall Jr., who had a very underrated 2020 season. He was just on the LSU team that fell off completely. Those are 2 very good pass catchers. Kadarius Toney is that slot guy. He is a gadget guy that I do think they could play around with. You could get him involved with the running game. So if you are going to go pass catcher, one of those 3 is definitely the option. They're not picking a tight end. I think that's as obvious as can be. So I do think with the Julian Edelman retirement, picking pass catcher at 15 is probably their best bet. But on the other hand, you might be reaching for one of those guys. So I do think, hell, once again, trading back is never a bad move. It is almost never a bad move, because you can get your guy at 20, 21, and you just can collect more picks. So I do think picking pass catcher at 15 or potentially trading back for pass catcher is the right move, unless this happens. And speaking of their 4th and final team need is linebacker. If Micah Parsons falls to you at 15, that's a blessing. That is an absolute blessing. He's my favorite defensive player in this draft. I love watching him play. I know there are off the field kind of character stuff going on, but if Bill Belichick wants to draft him, I think he can change him. And I do think lining up Parsons and Dante Hightower would be awesome to watch, especially now that they've brought in Matt Judon. They've brought back Kyle Van Noy. They have J.C. Jackson. They could potentially maybe keep Stephon Gilmore, Devin McCourty, Kyle Duggar. They have Josh Uche, Chase Winovich. I would love to watch this defense. Absolutely love to watch this defense if Micah Parsons gets picked to the Patriots. That is without a doubt 100% my favorite move that they could do, but I think pass catcher is a bigger need. But I would love to just personally see Micah Parsons on that Patriots defense. So that is what I think they should do, is pick Micah Parsons, because that defense, oh my goodness, that would be insane. So yeah, Micah Parsons at 15 is the dream pick. I do think, though, picking wide receiver, I would not blame them one bit. And trading up for a quarterback, I also would not blame them one bit. Looking at the rest of the draft, though, they obviously have 10 picks, 6 in the first 4 rounds, especially those 3rd during the 4th round. They are definitely going to pick players that all those team needs, so where else could they go? Because with their 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, those are also very valuable. If Javonte Williams, running back from UNC, maybe falls to them during the 2nd round, it would be kind of cool to see the Patriots pick him up. I don't think that it'll happen, because the Patriots did bring back James White. They already have Sony Michel. They already have Damian Harris. So I don't think that would happen, but that would be something pretty cool to see. And if they don't trade up for a quarterback, watch out for Davis Mills. who is a quarterback for Stanford. I could see him being picked up by the Patriots during the second or third round. Maybe even Kellen Mond. I do know that he has had some great pro days. He has made some incredible throws. Maybe the Patriots sit him behind him for a year. Josh McDaniels really works with him. I do think picking a quarterback during the second or third round is the best thing they could do. Trading up for a QB is really sketchy, but I do think getting a guy during the second or third, I wouldn't blame them at all, because no matter what you do during the first, you already have your quarterback for 2021, and that is Cam Newton. As kind of weird and funny as that is, it is Cam Newton right now, and they have built that offense to be a rush first offense. They have all their running backs, could potentially draft one. They brought back Trent Brown. They have Isaiah Wynn. They have Michael Owenu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was a stud gem rookie last year. They have the offensive line, and they signed 2 tight ends to big contracts for a reason, to block and be security blankets. So this offense was built for a rushing game. I think from here during the draft, they should either go all in for a quarterback or bulk the defense and bulk the rushing game, because the defense is going to be really good next year. It is, one, it's Bill Belichick, and 2, they made a lot of moves to make sure it was really good next year. So if you can bulk that defense by bringing in Micah Parsons, Asante Samuel Jr., bringing in guys like that, I mean, hell, even bulk up the edge rushing group. Just bulk it up, and maybe even draft a running back, draft a quarterback. So they should either do that or trade up for Justin Fields. Just go all in, call up the Falcons, and say, hey, we're giving you the mother load. We're giving you an offer you cannot refuse. Those are the 2 paths they can really go down this draft, and what I think they should do is definitely the first one. Just bulk up your rushing game and bulk up your defense. But make sure to draft a receiver, because Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne and Gunnar Olszewski, or whatever it's pronounced, that's really bad. That is very bad. So please draft a receiver, but bulk up the defense and throw in a running back in there. Just throw in a running back, make that rushing game as even more dynamic. Keep the opposing defensive coordinators guessing. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. There really isn't anything to talk about, so if you made it this far, you're fucking awesome. Because, yeah, I know most people don't. But yeah, there really is nothing to talk about right now, but this offseason is going to be a big offseason. I'm saving a lot of stuff till the offseason so I can have shit to talk about then, and I am preparing a lot for that time. So, yeah, leave a subscribe. Fucking words. Subscribe if you want to see what I'm gonna do during the summer. Whoa. Oh, yeah, so do that if you want to do that. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed and have a great day.